Hey there, I think, oh, got two people. Welcome aboard. It's Thought Snob Live. This is my show that's exclusively live on TikTok every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, everybody. Erica, Tara, Sabrina, Marie, F24, Nina, the Pumpkin, Wendy, Pammy, Nkule. Who is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Welcome, everybody. Thrilled to have you today. Please tap that screen so TikTok will push this out. This show is all about non-traditional pathways to success and out of the ordinary ways of being. And today we're going to talk about how to start your self-empowerment journey, your spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it. I've got some really great information for you today and a lot of really cool resources to pass along that I want you guys to know about so that you can use them, for God's sake. There's no need to go about this on your own. There's so many resources out there and so many hand holders, and a lot of it's free. A lot of the resources I'm going to give you today are absolutely free. Some of them cost a little bit of money, but it's a little bit of money. I'm saying a little bit of money. So I just want you to be aware of what's out there. But today, I'm just going to go over how you can get started on your spiritual journey. It's very informal, and so if you want to ask questions as I go along, I'll stop what I'm talking about and answer you. Welcome, everybody. It's Thought Snob Live on TikTok here. It's my weekly show that comes on every Wednesday at 2 p.m. My name is Paula Swope. If this is your first time being here with me, welcome aboard. I am pretty obsessed with time, and I make sure that I make our time together worthwhile. I do not waste your time. Everything that I say and teach will benefit you in one way or the other if making changes is what you want. If you don't want to change anything about your life, don't waste your time being here. I can't help you if that's the case. But if you want to make changes and you want to figure out how you can be a magnet for the things that you want, stick around, because I'm going to tell you how to do that today. So, welcome everybody. French Dodge, Richie 3 Poor. I'm seeing a lot of Seems like I'm seeing a lot of new names today. I'm thrilled that you're here. Sometimes I don't know if Wednesdays at 2 p.m. are the best time to do this show, but it's kind of the only time that I've got to do it, and I want to do it. So, Bombo Fuck, that's an interesting name. Can chakras be charged? So that's our spiritual anatomy, and I'm not really exactly for sure what you mean by that, but I'm going to say yes. The key is to keeping them balanced. And there's a lot of exercises that you can do to do that. And I guess that's like it is like a recharge any time that you do chakra work, because it grounds you. And that certainly gives you a good boost and a recharge. All right, so how to start your self-empowerment journey, your spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to give you some tips and resources, and these are tips and resources that I wish that someone had given me. Sun Sal Sam, hey there, love your page, Paula. Thank you. How do you feel about cleansing or fasting for spiritual reasons? That is definitely not something that I do, and I really don't know a whole lot about it. So I won't speak on that too much. My answer is research it, see if it's right for you. Of course, you want to talk to your, probably your medical doctor before you do something like that. I don't know to what degree you want to take it, because there are definitely certain levels. Cleansing and fasting, my dog wants to join. Great health benefits are associated with that. I would never tell you not to do it. It's just not something I have a lot of experience with. So I really don't want to, I don't want to steer you in either direction. Okay. I wish I could help you more with that. Okay. Anybody in the room, have you thought about starting a self-empowerment journey or doing some inner work, or have you thought about it, or have you maybe started your journey and maybe you're still on it? Maybe you're new. Maybe you've fallen off the path. I don't know what the situation is, but this is for people who are considering it and not really exactly for sure which way they want to go or how they should get started. And I was certainly one of those people. I am 48 years old, and I started my self-empowerment journey in my late 20s. So it was about 20 years ago, and I was absolutely freaking clueless. And I made so many mistakes. Bare Roots Farm. Yes, I'm ready. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So if you hang out with me here for the next hour or so, I'm going to give you some information, pass along some hard-earned wisdom from my trial and error. I made every mistake probably that there was to make. And just by listening to me here over the next little bit, you can avoid those mistakes. Also, I have a book. If you don't know that I am a published author, I'm the Thought Snob, the Modern Spiritual Playbook for a Better Life. It is a step-by-step instructional manual for how to do this. Stop it, Jerry Lee. Sorry, that's my dog. Get over here. Come on. Seriously, come on. I wrote this book for people who have no idea how to get started with doing this. And I wrote it so that you don't have to air your dirty laundry in a doctor's office to somebody that you don't know. I wrote it so that you can do inner work right in the comfort of your own home without anybody knowing what you're doing, period. It's available on Amazon and Audible. There's a Kindle paperback and audiobook. People love the audiobook. But if you love to journal, you want to get the paperback. A lot of people get the audiobook and the paperback so they can journal as they listen, so it's whatever you prefer. If you're not ready to buy a book, if you don't want to spend any money, you don't have to spend a dime to listen to my podcast. There's also the Thought Snob podcast, and it's available wherever you get your podcast. You can check out my link tree here on my profile. All of my resources are right there, easy to find. You can find everything you need. And the whole Thought Snob method was created to help people go about life with mindful awareness and emotional intelligence. And when those two things are present, you can rule the freaking world, okay? SNOB is actually an acronym that stands for See New Objective Beliefs. And that's just a fancy way of saying, look at the facts. Look at the world you live in and your role in it objectively versus based on the opinions of other people. A lot of us fall victim at a very young age to listening to other people and identifying with what they think we should do or who they think we are, okay? All right. So with that said, if you are thinking about starting your spiritual journey, your self-empowerment journey, whatever you want to call it, we'll call it a self-empowerment journey because really that's what it is. And you don't know how to get started, the first thing you want to think about is you want to keep it private, all right? And the reason that I say that is if you keep it private, keep it to yourself, nobody knows what you're doing, then you don't put yourself in a risky position for the opinion of others to sway you in any way, because doubt is a killer. And when I first started on my self-empowerment journey, I was not nearly as aware or as emotionally strong as I am right now. I had zero awareness. I had zero emotional intelligence. I'm not joking. It's the truth. And I made the fatal mistake of talking too much, man, like oversharing my shit. And that's a trauma response. I don't know if you are aware of that, but oversharing can be a sign of deeply buried trauma and repressed emotions. And when I went into my self-empowerment journey, I just did not have that awareness about myself. I did not understand what was going on. Nobody ever talked to me about emotional trauma. I associated the word trauma with physical trauma, okay? So going into my self-empowerment journey, I truly, truly was clueless. And at 48 years old, as I sit here, flash back 20 years ago, I am in better health, better shape, definitely in a better place emotionally and mentally. So all my whole physiology, my whole entire well-being is 100 times better than it was 20 years ago. And that's rare for a lot of people. Usually, people don't really, and their health doesn't usually improve with age. It usually declines, and that's not the case with me. And I say that without ego. I'm telling you that to motivate you, because if I can do it, seriously, anybody can do it. But when I first got started, I made the fatal mistake of oversharing, and I told people what I was doing. Well, because I had no self-awareness and I had no emotional intelligence, and I really wasn't exactly for sure who I was or what I wanted, their opinions infiltrated my energy space, and they planted a seed of doubt. And every time that somebody laughed at me to my face, or I heard they were making fun of me behind my back, then I would kind of, go within, and that I would be humiliated, and I would start to feel doubtful, and I would fall into a trap of believing what they were saying instead of listening to what I really, really, truly knew, what my intuition was telling me. My intuition was telling me, Paula, you're meant for greatness. You're not meant to be around these people. You just aren't. They're not for you. They're just not. Get away. Just listen, get away. And it was like, my intuition was just screaming at me, okay? Hang on, I've got a question here. Well, now I can't get back to it. Oh, there it is. How do you stay optimistic about things changing and being happy when it's been so long of the same? Okay, I can relate to that so very much. And the key is never to, I wrote a whole chapter actually about this in my book because I do not advocate for positive thinking. And chapter 2 is dedicated to that. Positive thinking is not the way to go. There's a time for being optimistic, and there's a time when you can't be optimistic. You should never force yourself to be optimistic. The key, the absolute key, is to live day to day with mindful awareness, live day to day with strong emotional intelligence. And when you have strong emotional intelligence, then you can control your emotions in a healthy way instead of them controlling you. And when you can control your emotions, you can rule the world. I say that all the time. Your eye contact is getting me there. I hope in a good way. I get real passionate when I talk about this, so I know I can be a little intense. So what you want to do is day-to-day mindful awareness, emotional intelligence, and live in faith. And when I say live in faith, I mean through mindful awareness, you use your God-given free will to your advantage versus your disadvantage. That means you make choices. You make mindful, conscious choices every single day that reflect what you want instead of what you don't want, okay? I hope, if you want me to elaborate more on what I mean by that, I'm happy to. But that's how you remain resilient all the time. And I'm going to use the word resilient instead of optimistic, because I say when I got to the point that I did the inner work and faced my fears and released trauma and dealt with those suppressed emotions and repressed emotions, then I just became more emotionally resilient overall. Like I used to just, fall to pieces over anything. I mean, anything could set me off. And suddenly I just noticed that I wasn't as reactive and I had more control over my emotions. And when you can control your emotions, then you organically feel better. You're organically more optimistic because your mind isn't playing tricks on you. You aren't going to worst case scenario in every scenario of your life. The repetitiveness of practicing mindful awareness, emotional intelligence, and living in faith has cumulative effects. It's like exercise. If you exercise every day, then you're going to reap the benefits. If you practice mindful awareness, emotional intelligence, and you live in faith every single damn day, then you are going to reap the benefits. It's the consistency. It's doing your due diligence. And when you live that way, then you are naturally optimistic. Okay, I'm not going to allow my dog in here anymore when I'm on live. Come here. You need to sit down. Sit. Okay. All right, so I hope that answered your question, and I will get back to what I was saying about the first step that you need to take if you are considering embarking upon a transformative journey like this. And this is important work. It's important work, and it's challenging, and it can be really, really difficult. And you have to be all in, 1,000% committed. You can't just have one toe in the water. You got to jump all in, okay? You want to keep it private. I was saying earlier, you want to keep it private. You want to keep this to yourself. And I made the mistake of telling people what I was doing, and I didn't get a very positive reception. They didn't understand what I was doing, and they were threatened by what I was doing too. Because through me changing, then they would no longer get what they wanted from me, and that threatens people. It threatens people. And when you're meant for greatness, and you know that deep down, like you know you're meant for greatness, then, and you act on it, like you claim it, the people around you that aren't at the level that you are, they cannot handle it. They cannot handle it. It's like you expose every insecurity that they have. You expose every disempowering subconscious belief that's controlling their behaviors that they don't even know they have. You bring it out just by choosing better for yourself. And when you bring that out in people and they feel threatened, then they can get pretty nasty depending on who you're dealing with. I was dealing with some pretty nasty people. And none of them are left standing. None of them are around at this point. They're gone. And you have to know that not everyone is meant to go with you to the next level. And not everybody can help you get there. You have to just accept that. And if you aren't willing to let go of those people, then your self-empowerment journey is going to be 10 times harder, and it's going to take a lot longer. Be choosy. Be choosy with who you tell. Keep it to yourself is my advice. And what you can do is think about the people closest to you. Think about how they'll respond. Just think about, in your mind, see yourself sitting across the dinner table from them or something, or wherever you hang out, and see yourself saying something like, I'm not really happy with the way things are, and I'm going to make some changes because I want to become a magnet for everything that I want, and I want to align my energy with my greatest desires. I've only got one life to live, and I'm going to live it. And I'm going to start exploring meditation and breath work, and I'm going to do some shadow work, and release some trauma and dig into my subconscious beliefs and just absolutely become the best version of myself I can possibly be. I know how the people around me responded when I foolishly told them that. And it was cruel and demeaning. And it set me back. And it planted many seeds of doubt. So just think about the people who are closest to you and work through that and figure out who is a safe person to confide in and who might jeopardize the good work that you want to do so badly, okay? So that's the first thing. That's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do, you never want to rush into this. Don't rush into this. Like, Your life isn't the way it is because of something that happened last night. Your life is the way it is because of years and years and years and years and years of thoughts, emotions, actions, words, people. It's just like an accumulation of all of that. And so whatever you want to change did not get there overnight. Show yourself some compassion and just admit that it might take some time, and the time that it takes varies person by person. Took me a very long time. And when I say a very long time, I saw a lot of great changes in the first few months, more changes the next year, more changes in a couple of years, but really I did not get completely lined out for a solid 10 years. And then I had more work to do. And I would say right now I'm in the best place that I've been, and it's taken me a long time to get here. And I had to change everything. And making those types of changes isn't always easy, but it is so worth it. Speaking of changes, here's the second thing. Some of us start out on these self-empowerment journeys, and we don't know what we want. We just know we want something better, right? We just want something better. We're not happy with the way things are, and we've realized that, hey, our way isn't working. Maybe we ought to try something else. And that's all we know. You need to get like at least a general idea of what you want. And a good way to do that, like an excellent way to do that, is to think about all the things in your life that you don't want. And that will lead you to realizing what you do want. Hey there, Monique. She says, what kind of transformation? I'm new here. I am talking about a self-transformation and how you can start your journey to living a better life. I am a self-help author. I'm known as the Thought Snob. This is my book, Thought Snob, the modern spiritual playbook for a better life. Snob stands for see new objective beliefs. It's just a fancy way of saying looking at the facts. Just look at the facts, see new objective beliefs. And what I mean by that is look at your world through an objective lens, not through a subjective lens. Don't look at yourself or the world that you live in through the eyes of other people. People love to come in and tell you who you are and what you need to be doing. A lot of us fall victim to that. I absolutely did, and it just about destroyed the first 30 years of my life sucked. It was completely freaking miserable. But when I started looking at the facts, I realized that I was living my life based on some really false, outlandishly false, self-sabotaging, subconscious beliefs. And those were controlling my behaviors, therefore destroying my life, turned it all around. This is Thought Snob Live. It's my weekly show on TikTok that comes on every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. By the way, the book is available on Amazon if you'd like to get a copy. It's an instructional manual, easy step-by-step. I break it down in increments on how to do your self-transformation journey. It is so simple. I broke it down so that anybody can do it, I promise. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here today. And I've been going over the steps and how to start your self-transformation work. And the first one was keep it private. Don't tell people who are, you're very welcome, Monique. Don't tell people who are going to plant a seed of doubt and rip you to pieces because they are threatened by what you're doing, okay? Maybe they don't have the guts to do it. They don't want to see you do it, all right? Now, second thing is figuring out what you want. That's what I was talking about when you join the live. And a good way to do that is to think about what you don't want. This is what I did. I still remember making that list because I sat down in my bedroom and I thought, okay, what do I want? What do I want? And I started thinking about all the things in my day that made me miserable and just chipped away at my happiness. And I identified things that I hadn't thought about before. And I became aware of things that I was doing and people that I was, engaging with that I didn't want. Like, I didn't want to do these things. And they were just making me feel awful, okay? For instance, I was talking on the phone every single evening for hours at a time with various people, and I would talk about everything that was wrong. I would talk about all of my problems, and I would bring up, and I would dig up bones. Like the drunker I got, the more bones that I would dig up, and I would open up old wounds and start talking about, all the horrible things that so-and-so had done to me in the past. And by the time I got off the phone, I was just as freaking mad about something that happened 10 years ago as I was 10 years ago when it happened. And it made me feel terrible, and I didn't really want to spend all my time talking on the phone, but it was a habit. It was just the way things had always been. And I stopped doing that. I realized I don't want to do that anymore. I really don't. And so I stopped doing that. It didn't suit a lot of people because I wasn't giving them what they needed, because I was a show. I was entertaining as hell. I was like a walking, freaking soap opera. And I entertained people and gave them all of my energy. And I just got tired of doing that. And so I axed the phone. I just axed the damn phone. And that alone, that one, realizing right there, hello, do you have a book list? Would love to hear some of your recommended books. Well, I got to tell you about mine, Thought Snob, The Modern Spiritual Playbook for a Better Life. It's available on Amazon and Audible, paperback, Kindle, audiobook. Get a copy. I believe in this book wholeheartedly. My blood, sweat, and tears is in this thing. And if you do every single thing that I outline in this book, your life won't look the same in 30 days. I promise you that. But I don't ever underestimate the power of a self-help book. Self-help book changed my life. Power of Intention by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Now, I have some videos on my profile here on TikTok with book recommendations. Check it out. I recommend books all the time, but the one I always tell people, of course, is my own. And then Dr. Wayne Dyer, The Power of Intention. Okay? All right, so figuring out what you want by thinking about what you don't want. So the telephone, I asked the telephone, and then I asked happy hour. Happy hour in my world was more like self-destruction hour that starts at 4 or 5 and just ends like, I don't know, indefinitely. It just felt like it never ended because it didn't. Like the next day I would wake up hungover, embarrassed out of my head over what I'd done the evening before. Because like usually, I would hold down bar stools at like various dens of iniquity about town and just get hammered and hold court and just tell everybody about how horrible my life was. And my go-to statement was, I've been put on this earth to be tormented. And people would just laugh. And that would, egg me on. Well, I hadn't been put on this earth to be tormented. Nobody gets put on this earth to be tormented. But I said that I was. And so guess what? I was tormented. That's what my world was. I was tormented. And I thought about that when I was sick of being tormented. Like I was just fed up of never getting what I wanted. And I thought about that. And I thought, you know what? I think I'm just not going to go to happy hour anymore. And I stopped going to happy hour as much. Like it took me 3 or 4 years to fully break that habit, but I stopped going as much. Like I was going maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks versus 2 or 3 times a week. And that alone was a game changer. So I just went through everything about my day that I didn't want. And then I turned that into, I want statements. And it led me to realizing what I wanted. And when I realized what I wanted, then each day I tried to not put a lot of pressure on myself. Like, if you're going to do this, this is the time when you need to be as compassionate with yourself as you've ever been. And you got to know that you aren't your past. You aren't your thoughts. You're the observer of your thoughts. You're not your actions. You're none of those things. Be very, very compassionate with yourself when you start this. And when you figure out what you want, then take incremental steps each day. Just one tiny action towards getting you closer to what you want. It could just be the simple act of saying no to somebody that's maybe pushy. Maybe they want you to go somewhere with them or something every evening, or they want you to talk on the phone, or they tie up your time with texting you constantly. You just something, just say no. And you can do that eloquently in a way that doesn't hurt anybody's feelings at all. And you'll see that the more you deny people easy access to you, they will eventually leave you alone. They will eventually move on to somebody else. They won't stick around long if they don't like your new energy. When you start to consciously create, you're making conscious choices to align your energy with what you want. And when you do that, your life changes. Everything changes. There's just no way that it won't. And again, I can't stress it enough. People aren't going to like it. So those are the first two things. Now the third thing, it's very, very important that you work on developing a really high level of self-awareness. Like, awareness is the foundation of all change. It's the foundation of all change. And there are a lot of ways that you can start to become self-aware. And this is linked to, this is really linked to subconscious beliefs and possibly any trauma that you may be carrying. And trauma, there's a spectrum. There are levels of trauma. Like, mine was more like micro trauma. Like, I wasn't physically, let's say, like brutally physically abused, or I hadn't been involved in like a home invasion, or, the levels of trauma vary. Okay. And if you have PTSD or, complex PTSD, then therapy may be necessary. I just want to mention that, and I want to acknowledge that. With me, it was more micro traumas, and those micro traumas are, it's part of life, but things like breakups, fights with people, arguments with people, disappointments, job losses, letdowns, alleged failures, all things like that, all things that are part of life that all of us go through, if those aren't dealt with, if they accumulate. And when they accumulate, then what happens is you repress emotions. And you just bury those emotions, so deep that they're going to come out. They're going to come out at some point. And if you feel like that's something that you've done, Okay, we all do it. It doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, how you were raised. All of us have trauma. All of us. And what you want to do to approach this is think about the beliefs that you have about yourself. Like, this is a really non-threatening, low pressure way to approach this and figure this out and dig into what your subconscious beliefs are. Think about how you really feel about yourself. And think about what your best friend would say about you. How would your best friend describe you? Okay? Think about what you were told about yourself as a child. Just take inventory of your primary beliefs about yourself. And then critically think about those beliefs and figure out, are they true or are they false? And when I did this, I realized that most of the beliefs I had about myself, like I said earlier, were outlandishly false. I can give you an example. I was raised by a narcissistic parent, and I don't throw that word around. I am very informed and educated about narcissism, and I don't think that everybody is a narcissist. I think that is an overused word on social media. It's become, trendy. Nothing trendy about it. It's very real. Narcissism is very real. So when I say that I was raised by a narcissistic person, I was. And that is a situation that will really, really cause your mind to play tricks on you. And I actually have a podcast episode about narcissism, if you're ever interested in knowing a little bit more. And it's with a narcissistic expert. Her name is Danielle Radin, and she's here on TikTok. And we did this episode several months ago, but you can find it on, you can go to my website at paulaswope.com. And I think the title of that episode is Scary Truths About Narcissists. Okay? Check that out if you're curious about narcissism. Danielle actually started the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Center in California. It's a very eye-opening podcast episode. So anyway, so like I said, I revisited some of my primary beliefs about myself. And the number one belief that I had was I just did not feel like I was good enough. The people that I observed that had lifestyles that I thought that I wanted, I would look at them and I would watch them, and I would look at the things that they had, and I would observe, and I would think, well, I'm not good enough. I'm just not. And growing up with a narcissistic parent, you got to have thick skin, man. I mean, you got to survive. I mean, you are in fight, flight, freeze all the time. And you also, you're always trying to up your game because they get bored easily. And one minute you're number one on their list, and then the next minute they're bored with you, and you go a few notches down on that list. If you don't step up your game and entertain them or get their attention in some way, then you're just going to keep going down that list. So I spent my whole life doing that up until I became aware of what was going on, and I stopped. And when I stopped, well, my relationship with that parent no longer existed, and we haven't seen each other or spoke in almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in July of this year. When you have a subconscious belief like that disempowering belief, I'm not good enough, or I'm not capable, or wealth isn't for me, it's for other people, When you have those types of disempowering beliefs, they will control your behaviors, and they aren't true. They are not true. Who could possibly not be good enough? Seriously. Who? Those are beliefs that come from the subjective opinions of others. They tell us who we are, and we conform because, hey, that's how we're conditioned. That's how most of us are conditioned to behave, is to conform because we feel like we have to. And then the people who decide not to conform are a huge threat. And you are looking at one of those people. But not conforming is the best thing I ever did for myself. Another subconscious belief that I had was I thought that I had to be at the freaking mercy of some employer to make money. No, that's not true. I spent so many years sacrificing my time, my energy, my health, everything for a paycheck that I still couldn't do what I wanted to do. I couldn't buy what I wanted to buy. Why would I sacrifice my time to make somebody else's dream come true? What kind of sense does that make? But that's what we're conditioned to believe. Some people want to be an employee. Some people prefer to work for someone. If that's what you prefer, then stick with that. Then that's what's meant for you. But if everything in you cringes, and when you even think about working for somebody, and there's something that you have this burning desire to do, then explore that. And this work that I'm teaching you right now will help you get there. It will help you to unlock your inner wisdom so you can rely on your intuition. Your intuition will tell you everything you need to know. When you do this inner work and you elevate your energy, you don't have to ask people for opinions. You're not remotely fazed by the opinion of another person. Okay? So that's a lot for 40 minutes. That's a lot. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions you want me to answer? I've thrown a lot out there. I try to not overwhelm anybody with information. Oh, there's Amy. Hey, Amy. So while I'm giving you all some time to think about any questions that you may have, I want to mention some resources that are available to you that will help you so much. Somebody just had a question. Brittany Creech. I have a moral block of not charging enough. I'm not sure. Would you give me some clarification about your question? I'm not sure that I understand. I want to be able to answer it the right way. Brittany Creech, you're a hairstylist. Oh my goodness. I went to cosmetology school when I was 17 years old. Do you enjoy it? So I want to give you guys some resources. Oh wait, I need to charge more, but I feel bad. I love it. Okay, well that's good. So you love your career. I need to charge more. Okay, I'm so glad you said that. I think I understand what you mean. We are taught I'm telling you, America is a really fast-paced place to live. And we are conditioned to believe that we have to push ourselves to the limits to achieve anything. And so we overwork and we overextend ourselves. And that never does us any good. What if you didn't view rest as lazy? What if you viewed rest as the most productive thing that you could do? What would happen if you gave yourself time to recharge? I bet you would absolutely excel even more in your career if you put your rest first. Amy saying me too. Angela, did you make a new set of friends, or do you tend to stay in your own company? There are very few people. My circle is very small, very, very small. And when I first started my self-empowerment work, my inner work, I probably was in contact, and this is no exaggeration, with 50 to 60 people all the time. I belonged to this country club that was it was an alcoholic haven. It just was. And I was around those people all the time. And within a year to 2 years of being on my journey, I was no longer in contact with any of those people. Seriously, they were gone. And then within 3 to 4 years, I cut ties with several family members and just kept axing people from there. Did I make a new set of friends? I have made a couple of new friends over the years, but for the most part, I have a lifelong group of friends that are still with me, and they didn't make fun of me when I started my self-transformation. They didn't understand it, but they did support it in their own way. And in this day and time, I'm not out to make new friends. If I do, then that's great. But I stick with people who that make me feel good. I feel good most of the time. Let me rephrase that. I stick around people who bring out the best in me. If I'm around somebody and I feel drained and irritated in their presence, and then even more drained and irritated after I leave their presence, then I know that person is not for me. So that's how I'm going to answer your question. When you get to the level that I'm at, you are so snobby about who you allow access to you that people have to earn it. They got to freaking earn it. And if you are a friend of mine, then there's a reason for that. Because I allowed myself to be treated pretty poorly for many years. And once I got a taste of what peace really feels like, there's no way I could ever go back to bullshit. There's no way I could ever go back to that utter chaos. Amy, my world is a lot smaller. Yep. You're going to find you keep your circle small. You keep your circle small. And it's just really the way that it has to be. You can't be friends with everybody. You can't like everybody. Not everybody's going to like you. It's not even humanly possible. You're not an energetic match for everybody. And that's something, another part of your self-empowerment work, that you just really have to accept that. And it took me a while to accept it. You know, I fought it. I fought it with vengeance. But it's kind of funny, when you start this work, the universe shows you things, and either you pay attention or you don't. But people will show you who they are. And when you start this work, you're going to be more aware of it than you possibly ever have been in your life. And you're going to notice things about people that maybe you haven't noticed before. Pay attention. There's a reason. There's a reason that you're seeing those things, okay? Love family photos in the back. How have your immediate family helped keep you centered? They haven't. When you say immediate family, I'm assuming you're like talking about like my mother and my father, and my father and I parted ways about 10 years ago. My mother, it's true, Amy. It's true. My mother doesn't understand any of this, and she has been one of my greatest teachers because she's one of the people that can cause me to fall back into my old habit of being very, very highly critical. And she's a bit of a worst case scenario worrying type of person. And I have to accept her for who she is. I stopped trying to change her a long time ago. I don't really have anybody else in my family to really speak of on that note. I'm very close to one of my cousins, and her and I are a lot alike, and we tend to keep each other centered. And she's a therapist, so she gets it, okay? Now, my husband, the biggest supporter I've ever had. I mean, I dedicated my book to him, Thought Snob, The Modern Spiritual Playbook for a Better Life. I dedicated my book to him. His name is Will, and he didn't understand any of this stuff until I came into his life. And I dedicated it to him, and I say here in the dedication, for my husband Will, thank you for supporting me like no one ever has. You made up for the bad ones. And that's true. That's very, very, very true. And so as far as keeping me centered, that's my answer. And the friends that I have around me now keep me centered and grounded in a whole different way. I'm such a serious person, and they break the monotony of my seriousness. And when I'm with them, I laugh until my jaws hurt. And when you can laugh, you're 50,000 steps ahead of the game. And yeah, they're a great group of people, and they accept me for exactly 1,000% who I am. And I have no reservations whatsoever being 1,000% myself in front of them. And that's another test too. If you can't be 1,000% yourself in front of somebody, they're not for you. Okay, back to the resources I wanted to pass along to you all. Listen, there is a free. This is free. I'm not trying to sell you anything with this right here. This is a free resource. Manifesting Masterclass. It's not my project. It's not my summit. This is a virtual summit. The summit, yes, Amy, that feeling is so liberating. It's the best feeling, one of the best feelings in the world. So, Manifesting Masterclass, wonderful lady named Katie Miranda. It's her summit. She organized it. She's known for her future memory paintings. So freaking cool. You paint. Oh, good. Amy, you signed up. Okay, great. So her work, you paint what you want to manifest. Like, she did a painting of her husband like a few years before she met him. And you should see like how similar her husband looks to this painting that she did. It's crazy. She did the same thing with her son. Well, she contacted me, and she asked me to be a presenter at the summit. And so I did a segment with her. I'm one of the presenters. I'm not exactly for sure how many presenters there are, but oh my God, a lot. Maybe even 20 or something. There might be that many or maybe more. But the link to register is in my link tree here on my profile. All you got to do is sign up. It's free. It starts February the 2nd. It's virtual. So you can watch it at your own pace. I highly, highly recommend it. You have got like a smorgasbord of conscious creation experts right there telling you how to do it. And it's not going to cost you any money, okay? Now, a lot of the people on there are authors like me. I mean, a lot of people have published books. A lot of people have other services, and then those are going to be mentioned. But if you don't want to spend any money, then that's okay. You can just participate in the summit and take the knowledge that you get from each segment and do what you want to with it. And then if you decide to invest in my work or another presenter's work, then hey, you can do that at any time at your discretion and when you're ready to make a monetary investment. I hate to ever make people feel like that they're being invited to something because there's some type of an upsell or something like that. So a lot of free resources out there. Take advantage of it. Another free resource is my podcast, the Thought Snob Podcast. It's available wherever you get your podcast. The link to it is in my link tree here on my profile. Another resource that I want to mention, save the date. I'm doing my first spiritual retreat style event on March the 22nd. Now, it's in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and it's not virtual. It's in person. If you live close to Elizabethtown, Kentucky, or you would be interested in traveling, oh my God. I've teamed up with my friend Jamie Dickerhoof. She was also on my podcast a while back. She was trained by Dr. Sue Morter, and she is a BEST specialist. Let me see if I can get this right. BEST stands for Bioenergetic Synchronization Technique. Oh my God, my memory is so good. Okay. I mentioned the retreat, March 22nd, Elizabethtown. And then if you're starting out on your spiritual journey, and Amy, who is here in the room with us, she has participated in this manifestation challenge of mine. I created a 30-day manifestation challenge. You can get information about it at paulaswope.com. It's on my website. There's also a link in my link tree, so you can just easily find it and click right there. 30-day manifestation challenge. What this challenge does is it elevates your energy. It's designed to elevate your energy. And you know, a lot of the exercises are, man, it take you pretty deep into your soul, really. I mean, it's like 30 days of just empowering yourself to the max. And if you do the exercises like you are supposed to, within 30 days, your life is not gonna look the same. And the challenge is evergreen. It's virtual. You can go at your own pace. You get a daily lesson each day delivered to your inbox. Amy says, yes, I still go back to it and work through things almost 2 years later. It's wonderful. A lot of people do that. It's $37. You get a lifetime membership to everything that I do in this Manifestation Challenges group, okay? And you'll get all of the information about that when you register. All you need is an email address. That's all you need. And each day you get a spiritual lesson. You get a self-empowerment lesson. I'm a Chopra certified life coach. I include some of my life coaching model in the lessons. I actually updated the challenge not too long ago, and so it includes some new content. It also introduces you to various spiritual gurus: Dr. Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Gabby Bernstein, Abraham Hicks, Eckhart Tolle. And there's a ton of people involved in this, and also a very unlikely spiritual mentor, Jim Carrey. Day 2 is about something that Jim Carrey introduced me to that absolutely changed my freaking life, okay? And when I designed this challenge, I kept young Paula in mind. And young Paula was broke and miserable and sad and beaten down and so timid and no self-esteem, no confidence. And young Paula had no idea how fucking powerful that she was. And when I designed this 30-day challenge, I thought back to what I needed at that time. And what I really needed was support. I was so desperate for somebody to support me, and I just didn't have it. And I designed this challenge in a way that you are supported at every angle. I removed every barrier to success with this challenge. And their built-in support systems at every angle. Whatever you need, you got it with that challenge. So, and plus it gives me an opportunity. When people join the challenge, it gives me an opportunity to work with you because we do virtual workshops and live stuff a lot, and I bring in experts from various fields just in the Akashic records and there's all sorts of fun things that we do, and you get a lot to choose from. It's like a smorgasbord of tools and resources, and you can pick and choose what works for you and what doesn't. One last thing, I just want to tell you something that I have tried recently that I really like, but I got to point something out, and I want to know if you've tried these, and I linked them. I linked these to the live. Have you tried these? I'm telling you, there are some great products on TikTok Shop. There are. I have bought so many great things on TikTok Shop. And this is one of them. I'm 48 years old. I'm postmenopausal. In the best shape of my life. I struggled with brain fog really, really bad because of COVID. I had COVID in 2021. I had brain fog really bad, and I was perimenopausal. So it was like a double whammy. Like that's two big strikes against a female, COVID and perimenopause. And I had brain fog so freaking bad that it interfered with every aspect of my life. I was reading it and thinking, Amy, that's why you remember the acronym. You might be right. You might be right. That might be why I remember the acronym. But anyway, I got rid of the brain fog, and I won't bore you with all those details. But I noticed I still lacked a little bit of my stamina with mental clarity. But I focus way more than maybe most people. You know, I'm always writing, I'm always creating, I'm always public speaking. Hell, I'm on live TV every Thursday. So mental clarity and focus is really important for me. And I tried these here. Neuro, Memory, and Focus Gum, 90 pieces. These are the caffeine free. I don't like to do a lot of caffeine. Caffeine's never really been my thing. So I tried these after I saw, Joe Rogan talked about them, and then I saw a bunch of videos floating around. I thought, hey, why not? So it says Memory and Focus Gum. But these aren't gum. These are, and they taste like peppermint. But see, they're like these little tablets. And I don't want to gross you out, but I was kind of like just swishing this around in my mouth earlier. I'll take it out and stick it in my little thing over here throughout the day. But you're not supposed to swallow these. And I was kind of surprised by that. Have you guys tried these? They work pretty well. They don't give you like a, well, now this is just me. These don't make you jittery or anything like that. And it's not like, I saw some videos that say you get like this boost in energy. I don't necessarily get a boost in energy, but the mental clarity piece of it seems to be sustainable. And if you buy these, let's see, yeah, you can, the directions are a little confusing because it says chew one piece 4 times a day to support memory and focus. Do not swallow. I don't know why you can't swallow them. But anyway, so I'm just throwing that out there. Anytime I come across a good product, I want to pass it along. I do think these work pretty well. I think they've worked better than anything I've tried in the past. Oh yeah, Amy, if you're still here, right on the front, improves memory, sharpens focus, supports mood. Yeah, it's got ginseng too. Yeah. So just wanted to give you some resources that might make your day a little bit easier. Why not be all about that? So it is 3:04, and I need to hop off here pretty soon, unless anyone has. I'll take 1 or 2 more questions if you have anything. If not, I'll sign off, and just know that I post these live videos on my YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel is under my name, @PaulaSwope, and the link to my YouTube is in my link tree here on my profile, like everything else. I have a lot of resources on my YouTube channel. They're free. Amy, I'm so glad you did too. I love it when you join. But I've got a lot of guided visualizations on my YouTube channel. People really, really love those guided visualizations. I would love for you to check them out and try them. Tons of resources everywhere. Everywhere. You have so many things thanks to the internet. So many things are available to you, and you don't even have to spend any money. But if you want to spend some money, the resources are certainly out there as well. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. So, oh my God, please remove the ad in the middle of the future self visualization. There's an ad in there? Hang on. That one, hang on, dang it. Because I think that the future self visualization is also on my website. Hang on. I don't like those ads. God, that makes me mad. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Nope, it's not on my, I have 2 guided visualizations on my website, but not the future self. And so I will put that on my website so you can have an ad-free experience. And thank you for letting me know that. I swear to God. And I don't make a dime off of anything on YouTube, but they still put those ads in there. And I thought that had been fixed, but I'll fix it. And I tell you what, if you will email me, sunsalsam, paula@paulashope.com. My husband has that video of the future self guided visualization. I'll send it to you directly. How's that? Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to sign off. Thank you for joining. It was wonderful having you, and I'll be back on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have no idea what my topic's going to be, so if you have something in particular that you would like for me to discuss, I'm happy to do that. Just inbox me or email me and let me know what you want me to talk about, and I will. Okay? And just so you know, one more thing. Here's another resource for you. This is a free one. I have a live TV segment now on Wave 3 Listens Live. Every Thursday, it's called Thought Snob Thursdays. I go on around 12:30, and I have a segment. It's like 7 to 8 minutes. If you live here in Louisville, Kentucky, you can catch it on TV around that time. They always post the segment the next day on their website at Wave 3, so you can catch it there. You can always stream it through the Wave 3 app. If wherever you live, you can watch it live on the Wave 3 app. And I would love for you guys to tune in. 7-8 minutes. Who doesn't have 7 to 8 minutes to learn something that can enhance the quality of their life? My intention with all the work I do is to ensure that you feel better leaving my presence than you did when you entered. Okay? All right, everybody. It's all for today. Hope to see you soon.